Before we get into it, please press on that like button. I don't know why it gets useful when I say it in the beginning of the video, but hey, press on that like button if you found this video helpful, and subscribe to see more videos of that kind. The previous iteration of this recording took so long, so I'll just make this short and sweet. For the CPU, we have two options. We have either the Ryzen 3 3100 or the Intel Core i3 10100. Both CPUs pretty much perform the same. Both CPUs are quad-core 8-threaded CPUs. They are really good CPUs at gaming, video editing, you name it, like light video editing I mean. Both go for around $100, but the Ryzen 3 3100 isn't in stock right now, so I'm gonna hook you up with the Ryzen 3 3300X in case you couldn't find it for $50 more. So if you have that type of money, go for it. But I usually recommend the AMD part over Intel because it's got a better upgrade path in terms of performance and availability. Like a lot of Ryzen 5th gen CPUs usually go for a good deal. You'll find them a lot for a good deal, and they're usually pretty cheap on the second-hand market. Unlike Intel, they are pretty expensive, but Intel i3 10100 right now on paper is actually cheaper than the AMD, so I'll leave that to you really, but I just go for an AMD any time of the day if it's in stock. As for the board, for AMD we're looking at the ASRock B550M HDV. It's a $60 board that gets the job done. You don't have to spend a lot of money on AMD boards because this is the last gen CPUs on the AM4 platform, and this board supports it. It's got 2 RAM slots, got PCIe Gen 4 even. You can actually do light overclock, and it's got everything you need, and it gets the job done. As for the Intel i3 10100, we're looking at either an H510M board or a B560M board if you could find it on sale. I'll try to link a lot of other options there regarding Intel down below. Now, Intel boards are actually pretty expensive for some reason. I'll never know. Maybe they have really good VRMs. Anyways, I don't know why the hell are they doing that. But H510M means that you will be able to run RAM at DDR4 3200 megahertz, and you'll be able to run higher end CPUs in the future like the 11700 or the 11700F. As for the RAM, we're looking at 2 8GB sticks, DDR4 3200 megahertz RAM, and since Intel and AMD boards both support 3200 megahertz RAM, why not? 2 8GB sticks got the job done. If you wanted to, like for example, keep this PC and upgrade to like 32 gigs, you'll have to swap out these 2 RAM sticks with 2 16s because both boards probably mostly will only have 2 RAM slots. So anyway, 16 gigs gets the job done. We haven't heard from any game that it requires more than 16 gigs yet, but if it did, 16 gigs will still be fine. As for the SSD, we're looking at a 512GB SSD, gets the job done. It's a budget PC, come on, $400, 512 gigs, fast boot up times, loading speed $40, I think, something like that. You cannot say no to that, and it's pretty decent. As for the GPU, the juice, we're looking at the AMD RX 460 2GB GPU from eBay for $100. Yeah, it's a used GPU, but these GPUs are pretty good. They provide really good performance. It's better than the Ryzen 5 5600G hands down. I mean, you cannot say no to a GPU like that for $100, given that GPUs are actually getting more expensive now. I don't know why the hell is that happening, but hey, it runs any game at 1080p, 30 frames per second, or maybe 60 FPS. The competitive games 144 FPS any time of the day. A pretty capable $400 PC with a pretty capable GPU. So an RX 460 in my opinion is like a really good touchdown, you know. As for the case, you can either go with something fancy for around $60 like an NZXT H510, but that will get you over the budget, or get a case that's pretty cheap like a Roswell FBM-X1, one of the oldest case I've used in gaming PC builds. It's been like 3 years since I'm using this case now. Yeah, for $25, and this is the budget PC, so you don't have to care about like ventilation or airflow or any of that thing really, unless you live in a really hot area. Get a lot of fans in this PC, or get an RGB case, but hey, you'll go over the budget. Power supply, if you have extra money, I usually recommend spend a lot of money on power supplies right now because they are pretty cheap. They usually go on sale. You cannot say no to that really. But we're looking at EVGA 400-watt power supply for around $25 to $30. As I said, it's pretty cheap, so really if you have more money, you can afford to get a higher end power supply, do so, because this will save you time to upgrade the power supply in the future, and you can slap in any GPU in the future without worrying. And there's that really, people. Stay tuned for the gaming PC build. I forgot to say about that, but this PC will be done soon. The next 14 days probably. And I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe please, and press on that like button. Peace.